Good day, my wonderful friends. It's me again, the great, one more great countryman. Remember to like, share and subscribe. Now, I want to talk about this situation with the young man getting extradited to Martinique and the bottom feeder Mavado. He is the one who did the shooting and he is the one with the chain. Mavado been doing a lot of things from St. Lucia go right back to Martinique. Long story short, Mavado dead and yet still this young man is in custody. In this case, you have a witness and the witness is in Martinique. The witness got shot with a 40 caliber. And there's also a victim. The victim got shot with an AR-15. The young man who's in jail getting extradited, the witness in Martinique is saying that it's the young man who is in jail getting extradited, shot him and also shot and robbed the man who is dead in Martinique. But when you look at the evidence, it's totally different because, like I said, you had two different firearms right there. I'm wondering if the police took fingerprint or if they did like a gunpowder test. There's a major twist in the story. You have to look at the history between the victim and the defendant, and to me it suggests a motive to fabricate or exaggerate. I want to give some more perspective on what's going on with this case with Mavado. The twist in this case is that the victim and the defendant, them have a history. So them have a history of whatever entanglement. So if the defendant was shot by the victim 4 years ago, it creates a definitely narrative of an ongoing conflict. The victim has a history of violence against the defendant. The victim testimony is unreliable due to revenge or motive. There is also lack of concrete evidence in this case, and I can't understand how this case went from 0 to 100. So with Martinique, they deal with France. So if you go prisoner Martinique, you end up in France. But the biggest problem, like I said, when Martinique sends so-called warrants for extradition, like in this case, the extradition request is based on the victim credibility or strength. But we know the victim and the defendant have a history, and there is also a revenge clause in this where the victim might want to take revenge on the defendant. So when it comes to extradition, everything should be laid out in a court of law in the defendant's country, and in this case it would be St. Lucia. The person who killed the man, took the chain, and he was killed shortly in St. Lucia. And there's photo of him. This is the guy Mavado wearing the gold chain. And the St. Lucian authorities refuse to acknowledge this as proof of the defendant, which is the St. Lucia man, innocent. But, so pretty much what I am saying is that if the man who robbed and killed the victim is seen in the victim chain that he stole, and then he got killed 3 months, 3 weeks later, Why is there another man in jail getting extradited? So this is a good thing in a bad situation for the defendant, because the defense should push for an investigation into the actual killer's involvement. The defense should show the photo, push for the photo that the killer was wearing. You understand? That's evidence. The guy is right here in this video. This is the guy who did the robbery, and he's wearing the chain. So why is a man being sent back to Martinique? I don't know. You know, they need to answer that. So we have to stand up for truth and right and justice. And if the man who did the robbery is wearing the chain, how can somebody else be in charge with it and getting extradited without an extradition hearing? Yo, St. Lucia is a crazy place, yo. Listen, my name is Countryman.